I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue old home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry seas, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue old home. Upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on. Read the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building. We're building a new way. Yeah, I heard it. We're building us a new way. Yeah, I heard it on the front line. That we're building us a new way.
You are the new day. You are the new day. I will love you more than me and more than yesterday. If you can but prove to me you are the new day. Send the sun in time for dawn. Let the birds all hail the morning. Love of life will urge me, say, you are the new day. When I lay me down at night, knowing we must pay, thoughts occur that this night might stay yesterday. Thoughts that we as humans small could slow worlds and end it all. Lie around me where they fall before the new day. One more day when time is running out for everyone. Like a breath I knew would come, I reach for a new day. Hope is my philosophy, just needs days in which to be. Love of life means hope for me, born on a new day. You are the new day.
Have you ever seen the sky so beautiful, colorful, wide and wonderful? Have you ever felt the sunshine so brilliantly raining?
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta and our Sunday morning live stream worship. We're so glad you're here with us. I'm Christine Strain, and I'll be leading the music today, along with John Frangione, while Don enjoys some much-deserved time off. We invite you to take part fully in this morning's worship. Sing along with the hymns, close your eyes during the meditation, light the chalices in your homes, and most importantly, in your hearts. Our first hymn this morning is number 1051, We Are. Sing along with me. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations, seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. Each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We're so glad you're here with us in the best place to be on a Sunday morning.
Thank you so much, Christine and John. I totally missed the memo on the tie-dye this morning, so you look fabulous. Welcome, good morning to our Sunday morning worship with the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta, a beloved community that changes lives. I am Laura Beth Brown, the Director of Lifespan Religious Education, and I am so glad to be here with you. Wherever you are, whomever you love, and whatever path you are on, you are welcome here. UUCA's capital campaign to raise funds needed to renovate the building and grounds of our future home on North Druid Hills Road will begin early next month. During the first 2 weeks of August, we are hosting multiple focus group discussions via Zoom. Each member of our community will be able to provide their thoughts on the best approach to improving our present and future ministry's impact. Please come and ask questions and give us your feedback. These gatherings are not for the solicitation of financial support, but rather to exchange ideas and engage everyone in the next stage of UUCA's future. Please visit uuca.org/register to sign up for a date and time that works for you. Join your board of trustees in raising money for Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism. Your board is selling UUCA Black Lives Matter yard signs. The minimum donation is $10 and all proceeds go to Blue. Contact board@uuca.org for more information. New to UUCA? Join our Inquires class every Sunday evening at 7:30 p.m. This evening, join fellow newcomers for an introduction to UUCA membership and congregational life taught by our very own Reverend Rhett Baird. Come learn about how our faith ignites deep spiritual growth to create hope within ourselves and our community. You can register for an invitation to this inspirational course by finding a link in your weekly update or on the live YouTube chat right now. We are excited to invite you to our Zoom Room social hour happening immediately after the service. If you have not already, please sign up to get an invitation by following the link in your weekly update or the link provided in the live stream chat. Through the live chat, we can express love and care for each other. So please take a moment to welcome each other and to welcome anyone who may be visiting into this morning's worship. Once again, we're glad you have chosen to worship with us this morning.
Thinking about the good things to come, and I believe it could be something good has begun. Oh, I've been smiling lately, dreaming about the world as one, and I believe it could be something good's bound to come. For out on the edge of darkness there lies a peace train. Peace train, take this country, come take me home again. Oh, peace train sounding louder, ride on the peace train. Ooh, come on the peace train. Oh, peace train's holy roller, everyone jump on the peace train. Ooh, this is the peace train. Oh, get your bags together, come bring your good friends too, because it's getting nearer, soon it will be with you. Oh, come and join the living, it's not so far from you, and it's getting nearer, soon it will all be true. Oh, peace train sounding louder, ride on the peace train. Thinking about the world as it is. Why must we go on hating? Why can't we live in bliss? 'Cause out on the edge of darkness there lies a peace train. Peace train, take this country, come take me home again. Oh, peace train sounding louder, ride on the peace train. Peace train, holy rollers, everyone up on the peace train. Ooh, this is the peace train. Ooh, this is the peace train.
So let us say our chalice lighting words together. May the light of this flame illuminate our tradition of seeking, invite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace. And please join us in our movement prayer led this morning by the Hill Souvorin family.
First we bow to honor the spirit of life. We lift our arms and embrace the gifts of spirit. We bring the gifts unto ourselves with gratitude and breathe and smile. We share the gifts with the world. We remember to be present. Honor, embrace, gratitude, share, be present.
What wondrous love is this, O my soul, O my soul? What wondrous love is this, O my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's ground, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end I will sing.
Let us put hands on hearts. Feel the warm connection. Let love in this moment flow. Say to yourself silently, I will love myself. I will love others. And that love will heal the world. At this time, we hear the joys and sorrows of this congregation. It is with sadness that we announce the passing of UUCA's Minister Emeritus, the Reverend Dr. Oliver Eugene Pickett, who died on Sunday, July 19th, at the age of 95. Reverend Pickett led UUCA through a time of incredible growth and health from 1962 to 1974, and later served as president of the Unitarian Universalist Association from 1979 to 1985. He became UUCA's Minister Emeritus in 1986 and served many congregations throughout the Southeast. Reverend Pickett was a thoughtful, kind, and attentive minister and left a legacy of vitality at UUCA. He was deeply influenced by the justice work of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and marched with him in Selma. King's children helped integrate the elementary school attended by Pickett's 3 daughters. We send love to Reverend Pickett's friends and family, his daughter, Martha, a teacher in Phoenix who took a year's leave of absence to care for her dad in Chatham, Massachusetts, his daughter, Anne, who is a nurse near his home, and his daughter, Emily, who lives with her family in Santa Cruz, California. You are invited to say the names of people you are holding in your heart this morning. Speak their names into this holy space and type them into the chat now. As humans have gathered for millennia, so we gather on this day to gently surrender to something beyond ourselves, to humbly acknowledge our mistakes, to ask forgiveness, to seek hope and renewal, to honor the earth that supports and sustains life, and to remember that all beings are mysteriously and inextricably connected. Now we still our bodies, we still our minds. We take a deep inhale, and then we exhale. We relax into this space that our intentions make sacred. We enter into the wise silence. I wonder if you have seen this symbol before. If you have, go ahead and type the name into the chat. It is a mythical bird originally from the Akan tribe in Ghana. It symbolizes the practice of honoring insight and knowledge acquired from the past, so the head is looking backwards, as a way of understanding the present and creating a strong future. The feet are facing forward. As some of you may have already revealed in the chat, it is the symbol of Sankofa. Last week, Mel spoke of belonging and how our ancestral roots inform and ground us. The practice of Sankofa recognizes this and asks us to honor and heed what is lasting and significant from the past. So I'd like to share a story from when I was a kid. The expectation is that families attend church on Sundays in Southeast Texas, where I grew up. And although my parents had both been raised Christian, neither were church-going when I came along. My mother truly wanted to change that, but her demanding full-time job, coupled with taking primary responsibility for me, left her exhausted by Sunday. My father worked at an oil refinery with an equally grueling schedule that included overnight and weekend shifts in rotation, so church just wasn't happening for my family. When I was 5, my mother decided to reach out to the local Baptist church and ask if anyone from their neighborhood would be willing to drive me to and from church on Sundays. The congregation put her in touch with a retired couple who agreed to take on the responsibility of bringing me each Sunday. From kindergarten to 3rd grade, I went to church almost every week with this older couple. I grew to trust and love several adults in that congregation, including, of course, the couple who committed to bringing me there. During this time, my parents were having problems with their marriage. Now 8, I convinced my mother to come to church with me. She began to make connections and find support there. And 2 years later, when my father got promoted and had more control of his work schedule, he joined us. In the end, my whole family found a loving and supportive community that inspired us to volunteer and share our talents. I grew up to be a leader in my youth group. My mother joined the choir. And as I mentioned when I was here last, my father found meaning in lay prison ministry. I wonder where my parents would be if my mother had not asked for help, or had she felt she could not come to church because she was ashamed that her family was on the brink of falling apart. I wonder again where I would be if there was not a village of people reaching out to support my parents so that my parents could support me. That Southern Baptist faith family helped my parents parent beyond their capacity. So you see, the faith community has been central to my life and has informed what I feel is central to my calling, helping people find and foster community. Where do you come from? Is there a story from your religious or non-religious past that informs where and who you are now? Like the Sankofa bird, we honor our past, which roots and grounds, as we look forward to branch into the future. I am so happy to introduce our Director of Finance and Operations, Bryce Thomason, to introduce our offering this morning.
Thank you, Laura Beth. This is no ordinary basket. Sure, it looks like the kind of basket that you might find at the dollar store down the road, but in this basket, I hold an AV team that's setting up lights and microphones and pushing switches on switchboards. In this basket, I have a team of staff and volunteers who are managing multiple Zoom accounts and Slack channels. And in this basket, I hold the dozens and dozens of you who are working diligently every day to get our new church home ready. You see, this basket, it symbolizes the work of this congregation. I feel in this basket the Women's Empowered Group who are carrying out a food drive for the Toco Hills Community Alliance. And I sense the weight of the action of you standing out on North Druid Hills with your Black Lives banner signs. From homeless advocacy to climate action, I see the tapestry of love and action that you're weaving together so beautifully and that we call community. Every day, I see the dedication of your lives in this wicker basket. And we hold this basket on Sunday mornings as we broadcast on YouTube to symbolize the offerings that you make when you go to uuca.org/give. When you see this basket on Sunday mornings, you know that it can't possibly hold the abundance of your contributions or the magnitude of your spirit. But what it represents all of these things. And it symbolizes the love that you have for each other and the love that you have for UUCA. This morning's offering will now be given and ever so gratefully received.
You can play the game and you can act out the part, though you know it wasn't written for you. But tell me, how can you stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool? One thing can lead to another. It doesn't take any sacrifice. Oh, father and mother, sister and brother, if it feels nice, don't think twice. Just shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Do as I say, yeah. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. You can run, but you cannot hide. This is widely known. And what you plan to do with your foolish pride when you're all by yourself alone? Once you tell somebody the way that you feel, you can feel it beginning to ease. Think it's true what they say about the squeaky wheel. Always get in the grease. Better to shower the people you love with love. Yes, and show them the way that you feel. I know things are gonna be just fine if you only will. What I'd like to say to you is shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will.
Thank you. So, while you see this basket on your screen, I want you to know that I see you. I see your dreams, your hopes, your persistence, your passion. I see our ancestors like the Reverend Dr. Gene Pickett and Bill Pilgrim and many other people from UUCA who held baskets just like this one, Sankofa. It contains their hopes and their dreams as well. And UUCA is strong because of those who went before us and believed in us being here today to continue our mission, even in the midst of this pandemic. UUCA is healthy because we know that we will change the world. And our gifts show that we understand the importance of laying the foundation for those who will follow us. When you join me in the dedication of the offering this morning, feel the words wait. Let's speak them a little more slowly and let their potential linger. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action that we call community, we dedicate our lives and these, our offerings.
As I mentioned in my story earlier, faith community has always been part of my life. Throughout college and into a young adulthood, I continued to attend church regularly. It was in college, in fact, that I found Unitarian Universalism in this small fellowship in Beaumont, Texas. When I moved to New York City to pursue a career in musical theater, I began attending All Souls Church on the Upper West Side and volunteering with a religious education program there. The rest, as they say, is history. I have watched in my time, though, how the brick and mortar faith community has seemingly lost relevance for a large portion of our Western society. In general, numbers of people attending worship services and congregations of all faiths have dwindled, especially in the last 20 years or so. There are many reasons for this, not the least of which is the digital age, the rising number of Americans who identify as spiritual but not religious, and the influence of white supremacy culture on faith life. I will pause and recognize that if it were not for the digital age, we could not be meeting in this format now. I am certainly not knocking technology. In fact, in the small virtual groups I have been attending since my arrival here in April, I am hearing that people are feeling more connected in some ways because they are able to meet and chat with those they may never have approached on a regular Sunday and Sunday morning coffee hour, for instance. In this digital connection, however, this opportunity we all have now on many social networking platforms that allows us to create community for ourselves in a myriad of ways. Now, for me, this could never take the place of in-person social and faith opportunities. But I am of Generation X. I am not a digital native, and for those who are, their social and even religious needs are often met in the virtual space. I lift up, as an example of the relevance of religious virtual space, our largest Unitarian Universalist congregation, the Church of the Larger Fellowship, which is entirely online and has members from around the world. This is actually great news for the relevance of Unitarian Universalism in the larger world, and it also points to the reality that if we are to remain relevant, we must continue to address the digital needs of our evolving social culture when we are back together in physical space. We also have the responsibility as Unitarian Universalists to create in our brick and mortar spaces something different than what is experienced in our white supremacist culture. Families of all structures, from single person to families with children, especially families with children, they come looking to us for that something different. They come looking to us for community, for hands-on support, and for a salve to ease their hurts. Can we be that antidote? If we can't answer yes, I fear that we will lose our relevance and growth will be impossible. Juana Bordas, in her book, Salsa, Soul, and Spirit, Leadership for a Multicultural Age, offers us a possibility for what something different might look like. In the book, she outlines what she calls a new social covenant that lifts up 3 principles. One is Sankofa, which we have been talking about, the recognition that we must honor, respect, and examine the past in order to understand the present. The second principle is moving from I to we, from individualism to collective identity. And the third, mi casa es su casa, a true spirit of generosity that holds collectivist cultures together. So let's explore these 3 principles, shall we? Taking a closer look at Sankofa, the actual meaning translates to, it is not taboo to fetch what is at risk of being left behind. Sankofa asks us to look to the teachings of our ancestors, to bring forward what is useful, to integrate the past into the present, and then shape the future. We have so many Unitarian Universalist ancestors who have offered us lessons that we must not leave behind. I'm thinking of Henry David Thoreau, who wrote his activist proclamation, Civil Disobedience, in 1849, that if the government requires people to participate in injustice by obeying unjust laws, then people should break the laws. His writings went on to influence both Gandhi and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who taught the world about the power of civil disobedience and peaceful protest. I am also thinking of Fannie Barrier Williams, a Black suffragist who not only helped women get the chance to vote, she also assisted in starting a hospital in Chicago where everyone was welcome, no matter the color of their skin. Fannie herself would not live long enough to get the vote, but she did help found the NAACP with such notables as Frederick Douglass and W.E.B. Du Bois. When some groups kept people out, Fannie Barrier Williams started groups that let people in. And I'm also thinking about Mariah Mitchell, a personal favorite, an insatiably curious child who asked thousands of questions. Mitchell overcame obstacles and broke social barriers as a 19th century woman to become a famous astronomer, one who discovered a comet even, and eventually went on to teach at the first women's college. Do you know which college that is? The first women's college, Vassar. Sankofa. I call on the lessons of Thoreau as I watch the overreach of the president sending federal agents to quote unquote restore order in Portland, Oregon, but who are instead escalating violence and choosing to intimidate peaceful protesters like the Wall of Moms with tear gas. I call on the spirit of Fannie Barrier Williams as we approach another national election where people of color continue to be marginalized by unjust regulations and laws. I call on Mariah Mitchell when I think about the attack on science and even the sheer act of questioning under our current administration. We must not leave these lessons behind. Sankofa. I want to name one other ancestor, James Luther Adams, or JLA as he is sometimes known, a 20th century American theological professor and Unitarian parish minister, famous, well, certainly in religious circles, for his 5 smooth stones of liberalism. He wrote in the mid-20th century, idolatry occurs when a social movement adopts as the center for loyalty an idol, a segment of reality torn away from the context of universality, an inflated, misplaced abstraction made absolute. Liberalism, in its generalized form, has been the chief critic of the idolatries of creedalism, of church and political authoritarianism, of nationalistic, racial, or sexual chauvinism. But in its specialized form, it has generated a new idolatry, the idolatry of possessive individualism. This possessive individualism has served as a smokescreen, an ideology concealing or protective a new authoritarianism of economic corporate power. This idolatry in the name of individualism and the free market eschews responsibility for the social consequences of economic power. It has become virtually unaccountable to the general public. So here, James Luther Adams is naming the challenge Bordas addresses in her second principle, moving from I to we, from individualism to collective identity. Bordas explains how multicultural collectivist communities, or we cultures as she calls them, have a strong sense of belonging and sticking together. And the community takes precedence over the individual, whose identity flows from the collective. Collectivist communities also have highly defined rules or covenants, and therefore change more slowly than individualist culture. We cultures cherish group welfare, unity, and harmony. And because these communities are tightly woven, there is a wholeness in which differences can exist. Although Bordas is speaking of multicultural communities, religious communities such as ours strive to live into these values. As Unitarian Universalist covenantal faith communities, we have the opportunity to be the antidote for the isolation families of all kinds are experiencing in this I-oriented culture, or what we now fully own as white supremacist culture, and specifically the aspect of white supremacy culture which is individualism. Unfortunately, many people, having grown up in our white majority culture, simply do not know how to be in community. It is also important to name here that we are not starting as multicultural collectivist communities that Bordas lifts up in her book. So the qualities inherent in those communities do not come naturally to us. Unitarian Universalists have lifted up the importance of the individual journey for decades, even above the community. We will not be successful if we are not vigilant in breaking down this affinity for individualism and the many ways in which white supremacy manifests in our congregations, such as white supremacy shows up when a congregant is ashamed to ask for help, so they remain isolated. White supremacy shows up in the embarrassment families feel when they arrive on Sunday morning, not looking like the stock family photo in the Hallmark picture frame. White supremacy shows up when parents would prefer to pay for it rather than experience the relationship building and spiritual growth of volunteerism and owning their role as primary religious educator because they just don't have time. Keeping up with the Joneses, that consumerist aspect of white supremacy, is so detrimental to our faith communities. Collectivism, however, shows up when we invest in our faith community, knowing that our individual needs will be met, our minds will be challenged, and our hearts will be open and held. Collectivism shows up when we are given a second and third chance, when we are welcomed back 1,000 times because our covenant requires it of us. Collectivism shows up when we deepen our understanding of ourselves by being in relationship with others, which is when our identity flows from the collective. Ultimately, when we commit to learn from multicultural collectivist communities, we have the opportunity to help families of all kinds swing the pendulum from I to we. For families with children, this looks like parenting from the perspective of relationship instead of competence and abilities. And moving to the third and final principle, mi casa es su casa, we can bridge collectivism and that spirit of generosity with a practice we have explored before. Bordas speaks to how relationships carry responsibility and refers to the African Xhosa concept of Ubuntu, translated as I am because we are. She says, like a tribal drumbeat, Ubuntu resonates across African cultures and wraps people together. My humanity is tied to your humanity. It is not an ethereal spiritual concept of oneness, but a real day-to-day obligation to be sharing, to be open and welcoming towards others. Since Ubuntu signifies that one's identity and well-being depends on other people, it underscores the collective and the tribe. The familiar saying, it takes a village to raise a child, reflects this and emphasizes people's communal responsibility to all children. In his book, Parenting Beyond Our Capacity, Carey Nieuwhof describes a ritual of connection he created for his son's 13th birthday that reflects Ubuntu. He invited 5 trusted people to spend a day with his son to impart one spiritual truth and give one piece of good advice. At the end of the summer, Nieuwhof gathered the 5 mentors for dinner with his family, where each shared a story of overcoming struggle in their own lives, as well as the gifts they witnessed in his son. Each offered a blessing with a promise to be a continued presence in his son's life. Nieuwhof knew it would impact his son, but was surprised by the tears of the mentors as they listened to each other's stories. Each shared their sense of isolation and loneliness in the world and expressed how they wished they had what my mentor and colleague, the Reverend Emily Bogus, termed a circle of 5. The circle of 5 broadens the scope and ask the question, what if we connected all new families with 5 active members who served as mentors to help the new families build relationships within the congregation, to discover their passions, and to learn how to use those talents to serve our faith family? Mi casa es su casa. My home is your home. I am because we are. As we close, I want to dream a bit, to think about the good things to come. What if everyone considered the teachings of their ancestors, carrying forward valuable lessons to serve us, especially in this unique time? Can you think of a personal ancestor whose voice would be really useful to you right now? Sankofa. What if we all prioritized group welfare, unity, and harmony, trusting that our individual voices are only strengthened when we do so? Collectivism. What if the sharing of our time, talent, and treasure always came from a place of joy and was even second nature? Mi casa es su casa. May it be so. Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. And then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, keep on moving though the waters stay raging. And in this maze, you can lose your way, your way. It might drive you crazy, but don't let it phase you, no way, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. One day this all will change, treat people the same, stop with the violence, down with the hate. One day we'll all be free and proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of freedom like why oh, s'mores, and our children will play. Why, I invite you this week to dream big, to call on a beloved ancestor for guidance with a challenge, to ask for help when you need it, and to shower the people you love with love.
Our final hymn today is number 118, This Little Light of Mine. Sing with me. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
May we take our lights out into the world and let them shine. Shine for justice, shine for peace, shine for love. And may our collective light build the world we dream about.
me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue old home.
Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry seas, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue old home. Upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on. Read the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate, greed, and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way.
So beautiful,